Early in the morning, the chief priests, elders, scribes, and the entire council bound Jesus, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate. "Are you the king of the Jews?" Pilate asked Jesus. "You say so," Jesus replied. But when the chief priests accused him of many things, Jesus remained silent, much to Pilate's amazement. During the feast, it was customary for the governor to release a prisoner chosen by the crowd. There was a man named Barabbas, imprisoned with the rebels who had committed murder during the insurrection. The crowd came forward and asked Pilate to do for them as was his custom. Pilate, knowing it was out of jealousy that the chief priests had handed Jesus over, offered the crowd a choice: Barabbas or Jesus, the King of the Jews. But stirred by the chief priests, the crowd demanded the release of Barabbas and the crucifixion of Jesus. Pilate, wishing to satisfy the crowd, released Barabbas and after scourging Jesus, handed him over to be crucified. The soldiers took Jesus into the courtyard, clothed him in purple, and placing a crown of thorns on his head, they began to salute him. "Hail, King of the Jews!" They struck his head with a reed, spat upon him, and knelt down in homage to him. After mocking him, they stripped him of the purple cloak, dressed him in his own clothes, and led him out to crucify him. Simon of Cyrene was compelled to carry his cross. They brought Jesus to the place called Golgotha, which means the place of a skull. They offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it. And they crucified him, dividing his clothes and casting lots to decide what each should take. It was the third hour when they crucified him. The inscription of the charge against him read, "The King of the Jews." And with him, they crucified two bandits, one on his right and one on his left. Those who passed by derided him, shaking their heads and saying, "Aha, you who would destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself and come down from the cross." Even the chief priests, along with the scribes, were also mocking him among themselves and saying, "He saved others, he cannot save himself. Let the Christ, the King of Israel, come down now from the cross that we may see and believe." At the 9th hour, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Some bystanders hearing it said, "Look, he is calling for Elijah." Then Jesus gave a loud cry and breathed his last. And the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. Now when the centurion who stood facing him saw that in this way he breathed his last, he said, "Truly this man was God's son."